if you want to put fender flares on your car, well, that's riveting. But I mean, if you want to be able to put them on and take them off again, that's well nuts. I've got the juke out here. So I took the fender flares off, broke about like 90% of the tabs. That's a lie, I probably still have enough to mount them on properly. But it's still kind of sketchy. When I move up to bigger tires, I'm gonna be radius cutting basically all of this out. So that's why it took me so long to decide to put the fender flares back on in the first place, was because I'm not sure how soon that was gonna happen. But I just got to the point where I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna put them back on, but I'm gonna do riveted style drilling through the factory fender flares. Sure, the plastic clips would have been like, what, 15, 20 bucks at the most? It's like $2 a bolt for all the hardware. So I was able to find these, which is a 16mm dome head bolt. I need to find them extra long because I think like Dawnstar, which is one of the companies I was looking at, they only give you the bolts in like 20 or 15mm, which is like thin, dude, which is thin. It's basically for like the wide body kit style things where the mounting hardware is like pretty much flush against the body. But if I'm doing it through these, there's like a good like 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch in some places where I need it to mount through. So anyways, like this was the only size I could find in these, and I'm not sure if they'll work for most of them, but they were still like, just for these and like the little plastic washers for them, they were like, what was it? It was like $1.38 a piece, and I had to buy like 28 of them. So that was 40 bucks. This was like 40 bucks worth of hardware. It's just this tiny little fucking bag. And then on top of that, I need to get these well nuts. And I needed at least like 30 of them, right? It's hard to find them in smaller quantities, especially for a good price. These are about $1 a piece too, but I found a 100-count bag for like 25 bucks. So altogether, this was like almost 80 bucks worth of fucking hardware just to mount these shitty fender flares, which will probably only last like another half a year, maybe. I actually have no idea. These well nuts are slightly too large to fit in these holes. So I need a 3/8 inch drill bit, which is 9mm for everybody else. So I kind of just had to, I feel like I'm snapping into a Slim Jim. So I've got the 3/8 here. Okay, so I just have to drill this out to 3/8. So let's just, yikes. That's, yeah, that's violent. And doesn't leave a great edge. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to find another solution for this. Okay, so I have a Dremel bit. Maybe, hopefully this will spin fast enough. I'll set it to 2. But maybe I'm thinking this. I might need 2 hands to do this actually. Like 3/8 is not that much bigger than the hole itself, so I could probably just grind this out. I can't do this with one hand, I don't think. But anyways, that could probably work. So grinding was slow as hell. It didn't really seem to be making much progress at all. So what I found out was, instead of trying to drill into it where it just catches the grooves of the drill and pulls through, I found that it works better if you hit it in reverse. That way it's just sort of chipping away at it and not really trying to like drill through evenly. Which again, this is also difficult to do with one hand, but like, Christ, there's a fucking wasp. Get out of here. Ah, heck. Can you please fuck off? Adventure. What was I doing? All right, this shit. And that way we have this clean edge, and I could just pop the well nuts into it. So mounting the fender flares on the back has proven to be a little bit of an issue. So I'm not sure if you can see in there past that, but there's only about like a 1/2 inch of clearance between the outer shell and the inner shell. But since there's all this clearance behind it, I'm just gonna drill straight through the second shell because I don't really want to cut any of those bolts because they cost me so fucking much. So yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do. And like I said, eventually this shit is all gonna be fucking cut out. So I'm not really worrying about weather protection so much. Especially like I'm not gonna really bother about putting the paint on it. I mean, it'll be sealed basically both sides with rubber, like a tiny piece of rubber. So I'm not worried about it rusting out or anything like that. At least not at this point in time. So this is a little bit terrifying doing one-handed, but I'll try and show it to you. I just have to go slow so I can bite into it and then it'll sort of slowly. Yep, and now we have a hole clean through it. Clean through all the way to the other side. This is actually really helpful for me because now I know exactly like where these holes go through. So I can take the wheel off and peek back here and see exactly how much clearance I have for when I need to go cut this out. So yeah, that I'll know exactly how much to take out when I go to cut it, which is kind of a plus. So I think I should start filming halfway through projects more often because I found that the easiest way to mount these is to actually put your through bolts is to actually put your bolts through and put the well nuts on already, so that you're not fiddling like trying to get, especially with these because they have to be canted to match the outside of the fender flare, but the inside of the fender flare is oh my god, I gotta clean that, but the inside of the fender flare is flat. So you can pretty much just do this, and then you can take a pair of needle nose pliers and just sort of adjust these, put them in the holes, and then you can tighten them back up. Makes it a lot easier. Oh, speaking of things that I ran into while trying to do this the first time, these little plastic tabs on the inside weren't fucking strong enough to get the well nut to compress. So I had to fill them all with epoxy putty, and one of them I actually didn't realize had actually broken off. So I just made that one up with epoxy putty. So, really fucking annoying, but yeah. And for the front two, these actually just hold on with clips, but I figured to just continue the look. To continue the look, I was just gonna put the bolts through on this side as well. But since it's off of the bumper, I just put these in inverted, basically from the back, and I'm just gonna compress them until the rubber catches them, and that should lift it up off the edge. They won't be as sturdy because they won't be, you know, compressed from the backside like most of them are. But it should at least hold the bolt in tight enough so that it won't come loose. And then when you have all the well nuts seated, you just have to push these up against the side of the vehicle so that you know that the well nuts are all the way in there, except for these, you have to thread these on. And so there we go. The fender flares are now officially bolt-ons. Let's see, I got out of here at, I got out of my house at 12. It is now, I actually don't want to know what the time it is. Oh, it's only 1:37. It's only 1:37? No, I left at 11. I've only been out here for 2.5 hours. Well, I say only, this probably should have went way faster than that. That was actually way easier than I expected. So I guess I'm going to go give it a much needed car wash, because pollen season's just about over, I think, hopefully. So I should feel all right about getting a car wash now. It's probably just gonna be more pollen tomorrow, but at least it'll be nice and I can take better pictures of it. Haha!